All right, welcome to the Side Action, episode 23 of season 6. My name is Jim Weglars, aka Wegs. You can follow me at Wegspo on Twitter and on Instagram. I was going to say X, and I screwed it up. On X and Instagram.
X and Instagram. Well, I'm Coop. What a great introduction. You can follow me on Instagram at Dalton Cooper, on Twitter at Mr. Grumpy Goes. Again, we are the Side Action podcast. Was the tree down last week? Did I bring that up?
The tree was down last week?
Yeah, it was like a couple weeks ago, wasn't it? Yeah.
No, I took it like a week ago Monday. I got it out.
Okay.
Monday or Sunday.
We need to figure out something else. I feel like it's kind of empty in here.
It's empty in
looking
here?
over your shoulder.
It's naked over here?
Yeah.
It's okay. I can put an Easter bunny thing or maybe a St. Patrick's Day, like a leprechaun.
Yeah, there you go. Or they like those blow up things, like a blow up leprechaun, like you see in like Sam's Club or whatever.
Yeah, that would be creepy.
Yeah. No, of course not. You're Irish.
Bring the
right?
lady home. Hey, look, what's for the leprechaun? Oh, I like.
I'm really into my culture.
I like St. Patrick's Day.
Yeah, I mean you're cultured, right?
Yeah. I mean it's Irish, and I got some Irish. Also got maybe Kashmir Pulaski Day. We can throw up the pole. I know some sausage or something.
Okay. Yeah, I mean that's what Caesar was making the other day in the at the apartment. Does he make
this
all I know is
sauerkraut?
there was onions in it. Yeah.
Onions? Okay, probably sauerkraut in there.
Probably a little bit. Yeah.
Nice.
I mean he's got that little bit of like I always fuck this up. Filipino.
Yeah.
Filipino.
Yeah. Some of the noodles kind of like represent, like to me it's kind of like sauerkraut. The way it's kind of cooked, it's like all stewed up. So
yeah, I mean you would know sauerkraut. You're the guy. You're the guy.
I'm a cabbage guy.
Yeah.
I got some in the fridge.
Okay, nice. Yeah, I know what we're doing after.
You didn't get your C4 by the way.
Oh,
an official sponsor.
Yeah.
So anyway, we had quite a weekend last weekend. We won't go into grave detail, but there was a dating event.
Yeah,
it was interesting. Lieutenant Cavs did not bring his crutches like we told him to. Very disappointed, but he hobbled around.
They toughed it out. Thank God there was a chair here and there for him to lean on.
So I got a little story, very quick story for you. So as you know, I got a number that night from somebody.
Nice.
And there was this whole debate after the dating event, because my wing woman got the number of the guy that this girl was with. And then he immediately texted her, like she gave the information. He texted her.
Okay. He didn't give her his number. She gave him hers. Okay. Yes. Gotcha. So she was proactive in this situation.
She was, what happened was I talked to this girl and supposedly this girl was like checking me out. So Aisha, like a good woman, was like, do you want to talk to that girl who's checking you out? I'm like, sure. Don't turn around too fast. I'm like, oh, she's right here. So we started talking to them. And within like 2 minutes, I was like, okay, well, we should hang out. Yeah, okay, here's my number. I gave her my phone. She typed in her stuff and boom. So done. Meanwhile, my Aisha, she's just chatting away with this guy. And she went through 2 different cycles. They ring the bell or they play the music or something. You're supposed to rotate. We didn't rotate. I'm like, well, I guess she likes this guy. Let's just let him keep talking.
Right. And then
talking.
She was just being a good partner.
She was just being a good partner. I didn't give her the
like the rendezvous. Yeah.
Hey. Tippy toe.
Yeah, this is usually first sign indicator. Is the nose.
So anyway, she gives the number. We leave. The guy texts her like, "Oh, it's really nice to meet you. I'd love to see you again," or something.
Yes, that's right.
Meanwhile, I think she used my phone, whatever, and texted herself, and I think I text like hi or something, whatever. Just so whatever. I didn't really care about it. The next day, though, I texted the girl and I said, "Yeah, it was nice meeting you. How was the rest of your night?" Nothing. Crickets.
Nice.
Crickets. Didn't hear anything from her. Meanwhile, we obviously told Aisha not to text the guy.
Right. Which
she took my advice finally after we talked about it for an hour and a half at the table.
Yeah, over dinner.
Yes. So anyway, in the end, I was like, well, sorry guys, the people listening for the dating part, screw this girl. I'm not going to text her back. I'm going to delete the number.
Still nothing?
More. So then I went on a date on Tuesday. Magic Lounge, awesome place. You should go sometime.
Okay.
Wednesday, saw Pumi, my friend. We went to a little tiki bar. It's called the Teeny Tiki Bar off of Michigan Avenue, kind of know where you were the other night. And so anyway, as we're taking the elevator down, it stops at the 8th floor. So we're on like the 12th floor, 11th, 12th floor.
No.
Stops at the 8th floor.
No way.
This girl's right there.
No way.
Outside the elevator. And I see her and she sees me and she waves and she goes, "It's Jim, right?" I'm like, "Yeah, it's Jim."
No way.
Doors closed.
You're kidding.
I had told Pumi I just told the true story. I told Pumi the whole story, so I don't feel like I was being shady. But I looked at her and go, "That's the girl that didn't text me." So she remembers my name and hasn't texted me? So then I texted her, that other girl, this morning, and I'm like, "Hey, so what were you up to last night?" And she's like, "Chicago Change Coalition cohort." And I'm like, "Oh, interesting. I'm not heard of that." Still waiting for a response.
No way. Wow.
I think she's a lunatic. I don't understand what to say.
The saga continued. No way.
Isn't that? I saw her.
That's so
like,
wild.
That's that girl. Oh my God. I just told you the story. Anyway,
no way.
Really weird.
That's incredible.
It's weird. What are the chances?
Right?
It should be fate, except this girl doesn't want to communicate. What does she want me to call her or something? Like, respond to me.
Snapchat. Yeah.
Anyway, so that was Friday. Saturday we had some fun, goofy times.
Urso was playing. Yeah,
they were good.
Yeah, they were really good.
They're really good with it. They're called 90s Steve or something.
Something like that. Yeah, like that. I'm gonna
90s,
look it up.
90s cover. They had their own band hits, and then Sunday we watched the games, which we'll go over. But that was at O'Donovan's this time, so that was pretty fun.
Gotta
go back in time.
Yeah, I'm trying to find it.
Stats department.
Anyway, that's okay. Sorry, Urso. We'll look it up next time.
It was a fun night.
Yeah, absolutely. And then we had bowling Tuesday.
Oh yeah. I saw that. I saw there was you guys all got 222, or maybe somebody had 221.
Oh, it was the last game we all bowled pretty well. Caesar was 1 pin behind.
1 pin behind.
So we lost the roll off last week. Okay. I wasn't there, so they had tied, and then they went to a roll off for the second half.
Okay.
Or second quarter, if you will. So that was tough, but we went 7-0 this week, but we swept. So yeah.
So where are we in the standings now?
Oh, we're still in. We have secured our playoff spot.
I know. So you can't secure another one. It's just
correct. Well, we're just both. So if we win another half, we just get extra money, basically.
Yeah, we want more money.
So yeah, I mean, there's nothing wrong with more money. So, but yeah, we're getting there. And then I'm trying to think. Oh yeah, we went ice skating last night, so it was a good time.
Nice. Yeah. Took a little tumble. We were okay.
Little Daily. What was it? Maggie Daily.
Maggie Daily. The ribbon. It's a little tricky because there's some grade to it.
Yeah, and they don't Zamboni that ice very often either.
Yeah, it's a little rough. Yeah, it gets, especially if you go, so it's a 2-hour cycle you can skate.
Yeah.
Near the end of the cycle, it is a little rough.
Yeah, it's tough. And
it's pretty though.
Yeah, it's nice.
Great view of the city.
Yeah, they got the kink, because if you look at it, I think it's the rink shack, but it looks like it's cut in half, so it's like the kink shop is what it looks like, or it's something along those lines.
We understand where your mind was.
Yeah, it was kind of funny. I just saw the sign while getting hot chocolate, but it was a good time. Good time. I definitely got to get my own skates.
Yeah, you got to get them. Get your own sharp, because those rentals are not as sharp and whatever. I mean,
got to just
get the feel.
Yeah, there you go. I figure if I could get an ice skating, I can get good at rollerblading.
Well, and you're not too far. We can always go sometime up at Warren, which is up in there's a park, Warren Park, which is a little further north than you.
Yeah. There's
a great regular rink there. It's a public rink. It's open, till the end of February. It's just, there's a bunch of kids and stuff, but it's nice. It's fun. They play the music, it's just around. It's not like the whole track, but it's a good way to get your.
I've never seen a track like that. So that was,
it's different.
It was definitely interesting. Yeah. Especially if you don't know what the hell you're doing.
Well, and it's the kids. It's always the kids. You can't trust the kids that are in the equipment. If they're in the hockey helmet and the pads, watch out. Well, they're going to take you out. They don't care. They're in pads. So they're also 2 feet tall, right?
Have you gotten taken out before?
I haven't, but I've
seen
been very close to. It's like I'm not a small gentleman, so when I get going, if I hit somebody, I'm going to take them out. Yeah. So I've been in situations where I've had to catch people. So the little kid cuts me off, and I'm like, sorry, because otherwise we all going down. Well, one time, there's a lot of pre-pod, but. One time, my daughter, when I got into skating, was because my daughter was skating. She was learning how to figure skate.
Okay.
And she's a little,
just on time too.
Yeah, there we go. So she's she was a little hellion on skates, 6 years old or something, super fast, and I was keeping up with her. But we were playing tag. You play tag with kids, right? Great. Well, I'm whatever at that point, 38-year-old man, decent sized guy, skating, not a great skater, and she grabbed me. You're up at the Robert Crown in Evanston. She grabbed me by my sleeve. And pulled me, and I went down. I mean, I was lucky I didn't break a collarbone. Yeah. I mean, I got pulled down all the way. Oh. Luckily, I must have rolled enough. I didn't hit my head.
But dispersed all.
And I just was able to not get majorly injured. But when I popped up from that little snafu, I chased her down and beat her ass right there in the ice. I was so mad. I was like, and I know she was just playing around, but I'm like, Jesus, kid, you're almost broke my fucking collarbone here. You know what I mean? Your old man's got to work. Anyway,
now she's still raising hell.
She's still raising hell, and we did go skating with her and her man. That was over the holiday, so she can still skate, but she's not like she used to. And her friend became a really great, high level figure skater, triple axel kind of type.
Oh no shit. Okay, well, fair enough.
Well, let's jump into this. We've talked a lot of pre-pod here.
Oh yeah, shout out to Jade, by the way. That was the blind date on Friday.
Oh yeah,
she was good.
Jade.
Great
Jade.
one. Yeah, great.
Jade was
woman.
great. Aisha was great. Jade was great. Nicole was challenging to people.
Yeah.
She was asking people, why are you here?
Well, Nicole likes to go right to it. Yeah, she's just very.
Why are you here?
Great right hook too.
Yeah. Oh yeah,
good
that's right.
hook.
We did hit. I didn't hit it, but you did.
That's what she
The
said.
girls. But yeah, and Nicole. I don't know. I'm not trying to guess her weight or something, but she's on the slighter side.
Yeah, she's
but
petite.
she's very petite.
Yeah, bam.
She can do the torque because of her tennis ability. She popped that bad boy.
Yeah, she's got some oomph, if you will.
Watch out. Watch out. All right, so who are we taking to the shed this week, Coop? Go ahead. I'll let you go first.
Man.
Since we have some similarities.
Yeah, we do. If anything, you want to chime in on this? We both have Dan Campbell in the shed. I think for a couple different reasons. My biggest reason I'm putting him in the shed is because he called a running play on 3rd and goal with 1:05 left in the game.
Yes.
And that's inexcusable at that point because if you don't score, you had to burn the timeout. And at that point, the game's over because you're not getting the onside kick.
Yeah, onside kick's like impossible again.
I mean, the fact that they kind of blown a 17-point lead to begin with, and I'm sure you'll get into that too. But just that one was like the boner of the week award for me. That was like I cannot do like I don't give a shit what the analytics say. Like no way. So,
no, the analytics probably don't tell you to run.
And I don't. Well, it's something I don't know. But we're also taking John Harbaugh to the shed. So. Their game plan was just a complete shit show. There's no other way to go about it. They averaged 32 carries per game, between obviously 3 or 4 different guys on the season.
And mostly running backs, right?
Yeah, mostly, right. And then on 16, they only had 16 carries overall as a team. 8 of those were actually by Lamar Jackson.
Yeah, most of them were scrambles. They weren't even, there were like 2 or 3 planned runs.
I think it was 82% pass for their, their play calling, which they ran the ball once on 2nd down the whole game.
I know.
We talked about that. So,
well, I think it was I think Gus Edwards had 2 carries since the first quarter.
Yeah, he had 3 carries total, I think. Yeah, and he had like 40 yards.
His first carry had 15-yard carry. Give him the ball.
That was right after Lamar had broken away from us. So we'll get into that more as we go. But yeah, taking them to the shed. And I don't know if you remember this little nugget about Alabama baseball. There was the coach last year, Brandon Bonahan. Okay. So there was a big scandal with him. He got fired last year because of a gambling scandal. They just found text messages now. I guess they did an investigation. So he had texted a bettor one day that one of their key pitchers was actually not going to play against LSU. So that guy immediately went to the sports book in April of 2023 and tried to place a $100,000 bet when the maximum you can place is $15,000. So that was kind of a big giant red flag. So as they did an investigation, come to find out, they actually the whole ironic part of this is that Alabama actually won that game that they were betting against Alabama to lose it. And so they beat LSU 8-6 that day, and they would have lost their money anyway. So now they get fired. There's a bunch of sanctions. He's got like a 5-year ban. And shout out to Brad Bohannon.
Well, I was gonna say it didn't make my shed list, but it was the other guy, the NFL player that used to be in college when you did like 8,900 bets, and I remember the kid's name. Receiver, right?
Yeah.
I'm like, what is going on in the SEC? Because he was an SEC player, right?
He plays at LSU right now. Yeah.
Is he right now?
Yeah.
Okay, because I mean, Butte, right?
Yeah, Butte. Yeah, something like that. Booty. Yeah.
Yeah, Booty. Listen, Booty. Yeah. Chase the booty, not the booty of the cash. I mean, the dude supposedly he had to make like a bet an hour or something like that for like 2 years. Yeah. I don't know what's going on. I guess they don't like to just play the game. It's fun. It's fun.
They need to bring back the NCAA for video games. That's what they're telling me.
I agree. Well, on the same line, and we can talk about it more, I guess, when we get into the game itself. But I do have Dan Campbell, as you mentioned, Todd Monken. I more blame Monken than Harbaugh. Of course, Harbaugh should make an ultimate switch, like at halftime. Hey, Todd, how about we run the ball? Like the same thing against Houston. Remember we talked about it when we watched the game in Houston the week before. Yeah. Why aren't they running the ball? In the second half, they ran the ball over Houston, and I don't understand why they didn't do that against the Chiefs, who, their defense is pretty good, but they were giving up runs, so especially against Buffalo. The other person, I actually threw in another one. Hey, look at this. Yeah. My Colorado State Rams, the alma mater.
Get out.
Look, this team, I can't get too excited about them. They made the tournament like 3 times in the last 15 years, but this team was really good this year. Hey, they're going to be good. They go to Wyoming, which is the border war, by the way.
Gotcha. The border war.
Yeah, up in Laramie.
Yeah. Who could forget?
11 points. They were up by 11 with 1 minute to go and lost the game. Now, that granted, they forced overtime, but still, how do you give up an 11-point lead in a minute? That's like Reggie Miller.
That was Virginia Tech and Duke, like back in 05 or whatever. I remember that. I was a 10-point lead. In
horrible. Couldn't make free throws. I mean, they did beat San Diego State later this week at home. They're terrible. Apparently, CSU's bad on the road, just so you know. Most college teams are. So.
Sounds like they play the level of competition.
That could be it.
But they're just kids.
They're just kids. God damn it.
Come on, they're
God damn it. Come on, Cam the Ram, let's go.
Cam the Ram.
So in Club Dub, okay, I'm gonna go first.
Go ahead.
Travis Kelce.
Okay.
I'm gonna say it's 50-50. I know we said that we have some animosity towards Travis because he was playing like a punk a little bit.
Yeah.
But let's face it, he did ball out. He played really well. He made some amazing catches in this game. He broke Jerry Rice's record for playoff receptions, and he, 11 targets, 11 catches, not bad. 116 yards and a TD. I don't like that he's like grabbing guys at the bottom of the pile and doing late hits, but Travis Kelce, welcome to Club Dub for a moment.
Yeah, picking on kickers.
Just a moment.
Oh God. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not saying he's not a nice guy, but he deserves to be in the Club Dub because he really helped for that dub.
Yeah, no, he was integral part of their dub, if you will. So,
sure.
And we never got to see any of this. We got to the bar, but Luka Doncic is the first person in my Club dub. He had 73 points against the Hawks on Friday night. Obviously, he's a Mavs franchise record in his personal. I think he shot like 74%. He had missed 6 shots. I think he was like 26 of 32 the whole game, which is just absurd.
And wasn't that like the day after Embiid scored 70 or something?
Yeah, it was it was like 3 or 4 days after. I think Embiid had scored 70 on Monday because he was in Club Dub last week. If you remember.
Right.
So,
that's right.
But yeah, we've had back-to-back weeks of 70-point games in the NBA, so that's pretty cool. Obviously, the script crowd, they had a nice big win on Sunday.
Huge.
Obviously, not us, but there are some people out there that's saying that this coverage of Taylor Swift is a little ridiculous, a little over the top. We obviously are not any of those people, but there are just some people out there, so we're going to put them in Club Dub, if you will.
Club Dub.
And then obviously the Lions, they did get beat, but they're in Club Dub because Ben Johnson's coming back, baby.
Yeah,
Everybody thought he was gone. Everybody
was
writing that off. See you later.
No, thank you, Washington.
Yeah.
I would prefer to stay where I am.
Yeah. So Lions Nation, I know it hurts, but hey, they're gonna run it back next year.
You got a chance.
They do. So obviously, one of the best offensive coordinators in the league, if not the best. And,
yeah, well, he had a definite good game plan.
Oh yeah.
Until that run play. But maybe that was maybe that was Campbell's choice.
Well, they only ran the ball, which we'll get into here more. They only ran the ball 8 times in the whole second half.
I know. This is the thing. You got to win. You got to run the ball to win. You know that, right?
Yeah. Well, you run. What is it? You run to get the lead, and then you pass to win, or something like that.
Yeah, well, I guess so. I mean, I think you run to like salt the game away theoretically. So if you're up by 17, should you be running the football? I mean, we could talk about that.
Yeah.
But anyway, what's your stat of the week?
Oh yeah, so I wanted to get a little integral here. I wanted to diversify your knowledge. So Darwin Núñez in the Premier League, he plays for Liverpool. He broke a record yesterday for the most crossbars / post hit in a single game. Okay. Do you know how many he hit yesterday?
I do not. 6?
4.
Oh, that's a lot.
Yeah, I was watching the highlights and they were soul crushing. So like he was probably a cumulative of like 1.5 inches away from like a 4 hat trick, basically, or a 4-goaler. I don't know what a 4-goaler is. Is that a ham bone? I know it's a ham bone. It's a ham bone in bowling when you throw 4 strikes.
Okay.
A hat trick +1. We'll just go with that.
But, I'm not sure what that is. It's a good question.
But Liverpool beat Chelsea 4-1. He did have an assist. But yeah, I just thought that was an interesting stat. They started tracking that back in 2002, by the way, in the good old Premier League. So footballers across the pond.
I will tell you what's a bad stat of the week. When Jimmy Wegs did not start the audio Audacity, so there will not be an audio on the podcast this week.
Nice.
Sorry, everybody.
Well, there it is.
I screwed up. Only on YouTube this week. I don't know how to do the audio. Maybe there's a way to do the audio and download it. I'll figure it out.
That's okay.
Well, you want to cover the coaching hires, which is important. You mentioned obviously. Well, you mentioned who didn't get the job with Ben Johnson because he turned it down. But Seattle, they got a pretty good coach. Yeah,
they got Mike McDonald going from Baltimore's defensive coordinator, Michigan man as well.
Yeah,
going out to Seattle. So
shut out the Chiefs in second half.
We definitely all thought that he was that was Dan Quinn's job for the taking. So
I thought so too.
It was definitely interesting. But he actually ends up in Washington, like we kind of discussed earlier. We had Dave Canales in Carolina. He was actually a quarterbacks coach, I think, in Tampa. He also has worked with the Rams.
Yep. He's definitely from McVay.
Yeah, and I believe he played quarterback at one point. But
sure he did.
But yeah, they do talk about his schematic. He's supposed to be a pretty good hire.
He only had 1 year with OC, but
so we'll definitely see. Well, it's going to be interesting with Tapper anyway, because he's always probably going to want to.
I do think he'll probably get more than 1 year, unlike Frank Reich. So, because I mean, they've kind of gone back to back with quick ones. So let's see what happens.
Usually got to pay extra for that. So Las Vegas obviously hired Antonio Pierce. I think we discussed that. Jim Harbaugh, we talked last week, is with the Chargers. Gerard Mayo with New England, and then the big one, I don't know if the big one, but the oddball in my opinion is Brian Callahan.
A little weird
to the Titans. So that leaves out Mike Vrabel and Bill Belichick. And
Fascinating.
so the Falcons still have a head coaching vacancy. I saw a big rumor that the
No, they don't. No, they don't.
no,
The
you're
Falcons
right.
got Raheem
They
Morris.
got Raheem Morris. You're right. I
Yeah,
totally forgot to
they
put him on
opted
the
for
list.
we don't want Belichick.
Yeah,
He's won 6 Super Bowls. Let's get Raheem Morris. He's like 10 games under 500 as a head coach.
there was a rumor that Mike Vrabel's thinking about signing with the Dolphins staff, though. I was reading about that
as a
today.
defensive coordinator?
I might have been, yeah, I believe
Okay.
so.
So
that would be pretty
Fangio
sick.
is going to
He's
Philly,
in Philadelphia,
right?
yeah. That'd be pretty sick, though. I'm just
Oh,
saying.
yeah. I like
little
Vrabel.
Mike Vrabel and the mics. We're
Mics.
gonna collect all the mics. We need the head of mics. But
Right.
but yeah, there was 4 defensive coaches that were hired.
Mhm.
If you look at the playoff records this year, defensive coaches won a total of 4 games. None of them are left in the playoffs.
Yeah.
And obviously after the Super Bowl, there's going to be 9 wins total. For
Would
the
you
offensive
consider
coaches.
Campbell an offensive coach, or is he
Yes.
a special teams coach?
I would
Offensive?
consider him more
I
offensive.
mean, he was
yeah.
a tight end, but I don't know if he actually coached.
Yeah.
Was he ever OC?
I don't think so, no.
Okay.
But he was like you to your point, he was a tight ends coach. And
Yeah.
Harbaugh, I think, was probably the closest thing to a special teams coach.
Yeah, he was
So,
special teams for sure.
yeah.
Right.
So, but it just in a league that's shifting more offensively, especially with the rules and everything, you would think it'd make more sense to hire an offensive
Everybody
coach.
on the
But
betting channels always says that it's you pick the offensive coach to be the head coach. You can always hire a defensive coach. I don't know. It depends. I mean, I do think it depends on the defensive coach, because if they're going to be, calling the plays and stuff like a la Matt Eberflus, like focus on the game.
Yeah.
You got to be able to make those decisions. Like, well, we'll talk about Dan Campbell. Maybe he didn't make the decisions, but he was making the decisions for the team.
Yeah.
Right. If you're calling the plays like Shanahan, that's okay. But are you managing the full game? You're really giving up your whole side, the defensive side to your defensive coordinator. So you better do a good job.
right.
Look at you, Steve Wilkes.
Yeah, no kidding.
So, well, let's talk about last weekend. This is kind of a broken record. Home teams, even though we'll talk about the game, it was 1-1. The Chiefs are the only team that's basically defied all these odds besides Green Bay at the 1 win. I mean, Kansas City just keeps winning on the road with another road win. But against the spread this week, dogs came in. Dogs were barking. They came in both, and then the totals were split. So congratulations, Dalton, 11-1. I know you didn't want to do that, but you did it. Yeah. So good job. I had a decent week this week, 1-1, but I made a lot of money actually last week, which is great because of all the. I know you like Jimmy, Mr. Hedgerton.
Yeah.
But Jimmy Hedgerton made some cash last week.
Oh yeah.
Which really helps. So
Mr. Hedgerton.
in the first game, Chiefs being +3.5, it went off at +5. Yeah. So the money just came in on Baltimore, which was a little surprising to me because, Patrick Mahomes, right? And I do think the line probably should have been this 4.5. And we talked about it going to watch the game. You're like, oh, they might get blown out. But, man, the Chiefs had a good game plan to start. They just came out of the box and moved the ball down the field easily. Now, I say easily. It took them tons of plays. They had like a 16-play drive.
The second touchdown drive was 16 plays.
And they kept converting on 3rd down. A lot of it was to Kelsey or even 4th down. Yeah. But, hey, they did it. But then the game just switched. I mean, in the second, really after that second touchdown, they did get a field goal at the end of the half. But the game just slowed down to nothing. It was just 3-and-out short drives, in the second half. But Baltimore turned it up in the second half, and Monken, he didn't run the ball, but they had their chances. Zay Flowers, tried to dive. First of all, he had the taunting. That was a stupid play.
That was a stupid call.
Stupid call. Also stupid play because you're down to the 10. But they still almost got in the end zone, but never dive on first down. That's the rule.
Right.
Never dive on first down. And you got the ball popped out. Lamar had a terrible interception, but give it to McDonald's defense. They shut them down in the second half. No scores and really barely any yards for the Chiefs in the second half. But, they lost outright 17-10. And we were watching the game. It was like, all they need is one thing. They just could never do it. Yeah. And so Lamar gets a lot of scrutiny here, but I don't know. I guess I put down the penalties. There were a lot of penalties on the Baltimore.
They had 30 yards of penalties to get that field goal before the half. If you remember the clothesline, then
sure.
The other penalty, I can't remember what it was. Oh, it was the one with Kelsey that Van Noy headbutted him or whatever.
He kind of
baited him into it. Yeah. So, they kicked a 52-yard field goal to end the half.
Yep.
So, 30-yard, if you take away one of those penalties, there's no way they're kicking a field goal at the end of the half.
Right,
so, just that point, and then
14-7 versus 7-14.
I think the Ravens got shook, honestly.
They did.
They for the first time all year, I think they kind of went, oh, shit, because the Chiefs came out so quick, to your point. And, first drive went right down the field, scored a touchdown, and then the next drive they took half the quarter away, basically, and it's like, well, shit, what are we going to do?
They were playing like they were down 30 points.
Yeah.
They were down by 7 or 10.
10.
It's like 10 points. You just got to do your offense, run your offense, but
Yeah.
they just lost their minds. But one of the things I wanted to point out is the Chiefs are now 19-1 on the season to the under in the fourth quarter. This team is just, their defense is amazing, and Spagnuolo deserves all the credit in the world. He'll probably never get a head coaching job, as we said, mostly defensive, but he's really outcoached these last couple of games. I mean, Miami, maybe they were outmanned, but he outcoached the Bills, and he definitely outcoached Baltimore.
Yeah, he's happy that Zach Taylor's at home.
Yes,
that's for sure.
That's true. So anyway, some of the props that we had, I did hit the Pacheco receptions barely. They cashed. Justin Hill as well, 13.5. It looked a little dicey for a while. Mahomes did not go over his rushing prop. They really didn't need to do anything in the second half.
Yeah.
And obviously we cashed on you cashed on the game. I'd cashed on the money line, which helps me put some money in my pocket.
Yeah. Jimmy Hedgington.
Yeah. The second game was, I think, even though the first game was like, I don't know, it was kind of a frustrating game, right? We wanted more action in the second half.
To your point, you were just waiting for that one thing to happen for the Ravens to get that game really going.
Yeah, but the second game, and we went home. We didn't stay at the bar. It was hilarious. Like, I'm on the way home, and I'm like, let me just get a first touchdown bet here. Boom, and then Jameson Williams, like, I'm in the car, and then it hits, and the guy runs a 42-yard reverse. I mean, they were just coming out of the gates. Detroit was ready to play, and Jameson Williams scored the touchdown. That was a nice hit, 25-1. That's nice money.
Yeah.
I like that.
Hell yeah.
But this was kind of the opposite. It was kind of like what the Chiefs did to Baltimore. They came out and just punched San Francisco in the mouth. They just owned them in the first half. Everything they were doing offensively and defensively looked great. Purdy didn't look so good. I mean, Debo was involved more than we thought, which was kind of a miss on my part anyway. But then the second half, you're up by 17. So let's talk about these different choices that Campbell made. You've got a 4th and 3 in the second quarter, end of the game, end of the half. He decides to kick the field goal, right? So that makes sense. Go 3 scores. That's, to me, like, I know I'm an old school football guy, but you go 3 scores. 17 is better than 14 because they need to score 3 times. So then the second half, San Francisco comes out, goes down, kicks a field goal. You think they're going to do something better.
Yeah.
Detroit goes down. Nice drive. They get within field goal range. Now, was the play call right? Probably. Should Reynolds caught the ball?
Probably.
More than once, yes. But, I mean, go up by the 3 scores again. Now, some people say Badgley's a bad kicker, but he's like 18 to 21 for between 40 and 49 yards. Just, I don't understand. That one didn't make sense. I think that one almost didn't make as much sense as the other, the second one. But
the second one, you're going for the kill shot. Like, you're trying to put him out. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, at that point, I think I'm saying the second time you're down. This one, why don't you just get the field goal? They're down 3 scores again.
Right.
See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So this was kind of a momentum play, and then you don't know what's going to happen next, which is calamity, right? You get this amazing. Well, it was a terrible throw, really, by Purdy. Let's start there.
What a great bounce.
God, Purdy always throws the ball to the other team. Hits the guy's face mask. He makes the amazing catch.
I think that was the second time because he hit the dude earlier in the game, I think.
Did he?
The first quarter, I think. Yeah, and Purdy threw one that was probably shouldn't have picked off again.
But he makes an amazing catch. I mean, just incredible effort. Makes the catch. They get down to 4. He scores later. So now they're only down by 7 now. And then the first play, Gibbs fumbles at the 20. It's like shit. They go in and score right away. Now the game's tied. All within 2 minutes. Yeah. I mean, it was crazy. So he didn't know it was going to unfold that way. So I get why he went for 4th down there, but they would have been still up if he made a field goal. Yeah. So anyway, then eventually San Francisco gets another field goal, goes up 27-24. I just feel like because the Detroit had been kind of stymied there in a stretch, you get in field goal range, just kick the field goal. I mean, I understand the numbers. I think the expected win percentage was about the same at that point if you look at the analytics. But my point is, Campbell's not looking at analytics. He's like a feel guy. Doesn't he feel that you just got 20? You give up 20 points right in a row. I mean, what are you doing?
Yeah,
you're down by 3 now. You get a 17-point lead. Now you're losing. Kick the field goal. If you go for it and lose, the momentum is totally even more on San Francisco's side. So I can defend either way. I don't defend either choice, but I understand why he wanted to get the control back, is what he said. But I don't know, bro. I mean, it kind of sucks. That play wasn't as good. They went to St. Brown that time.
Yeah,
and he really wasn't open, and then whatever.
Well, they missed a block, I think, on the line that kind of sped everything up for the second one. But Yeah, no, I mean, if anything, they were talking about him being consistent all year. I mean, he was. I mean, from a team's aspect, I guess I can't remember who I was listening to, but someone was like, from a team standpoint, that's what he's done all year. If anything, instills confidence. If he were to switch up now, it may fuck with the culture, or with the psyche a little bit of the team. Like, oh, well, now he doesn't believe in us, or like now he wants to.
Brandon Staley was consistent too.
Well, I think there was a little bit different in buy-in between both different cultures, if you will. So. Yeah, no, I like it to your point. I can see it both ways. I think the first one, you think you should take the field goal. You go up 7. You're on the road. You go up 17, and if anything, run the football. Like at 4th and 2, I think is what it was.
Well, that's what I mean. You've been running on these guys all day.
Well, it was 3rd and 5, and they ran it on 3rd and 5. So it was kind of a dead giveaway. They were going to go for it on 4th. But again, just line up and run the football again because they went from 3rd and 5 to 4th and 2. So take your 3 yards and let's
do the tush push. Whatever you got to do. 2 yards.
So.
And then, of course,
you got David Montgomery for God's
sakes. You didn't know San Francisco was going to score a touchdown pretty quickly. 6 plays. They're up by 10. Here's the other question I have. You're driving down the field. You're down by 10 points again. Yeah. Your point is totally valid. They should never run on, 3rd and goal or whatever it was, 2nd and goal.
That was stupid.
But you get to like the 15-yard line with 1:36, 3 timeouts. Don't you kick the field goal then? You need 10 points. It doesn't matter now.
Well, they knew how much they needed to cover.
That's what I was saying. Did he bet on the game? I mean, what is he doing? Because if he kicks a field goal there, you're down by 7. Maybe you got 7.5, whatever.
Right.
And then you play defense. So then, of course, they get a good play inside the 4 or whatever. And then what the hell? You're running the football? Look, I wanted him to run the ball personally. As you know, I had 2 touchdowns for David Montgomery. But when I saw them do that, I'm like, oh, shit. Like, the game is basically over now.
Yeah, like you need a miracle.
You need to do, and they actually, what's his name? Craig Reynolds touched it before 10 yards. He made a really good effort in that situation, but
almost got it.
So it's kind of a shame. So, I mean, everybody's bagging on Campbell, which I think is part of it, but I don't know. It was a weird game. It was just a weird game. They had the game. You saw they
had all the momentum. They were by far the better team for 2.5, 3 quarters.
They were. And they were still up by, 14 points with 6 minutes to go in the 3rd quarter.
Yeah, it was these Lions. They weren't those Lions anymore. They had turned into these Lions.
Poor Lions. So Lions fans, and did you see Ford Field? There was jammed with people.
Oh my God. Yeah, it was a madhouse. They were kept cutting to it, especially when they're up 14 or 21 or whatever it was. It was 21-7, and that place was going bonkers.
Exactly. So we didn't do so good on these props. Obviously, I said the David Montgomery 2 touchdowns. Ayuk, 109. He had 68. It just was more Debo, and then they did run the ball more in the second half, which is, hey, running wins. Your Kittle didn't get over either was tough. Jameson Williams did hit thank you, and then obviously, you did an in game.
Yeah, we did.
So tell me when you fell asleep in this game. You said you fell asleep.
Oh yeah, it was I rewatched on NFL Network the other day. I think it was about halfway through the second quarter.
Okay. You're like, the Lions got this.
No, I bet. Yeah, no, I bet I took the money line of San Francisco. I think after they were down 14. I think it was 14-0 or 14-7. I was like, you know what? We'll throw a little bit of.
I think I heard it got up to 380 at one point.
I should have waited until they were down 21-7.
Yeah, but what are you gonna do?
What can you do?
24/7. So let's just talk briefly about the Super Bowl stuff. We'll talk more in detail next week. Injuries. I don't know if Willie Gay is going to play. I mean, we'll see. He didn't play last week. He's been kind of a guy. Joe Tooney was out last week. We'll see. To me, 49ers don't really have any major injuries.
Yeah.
I'm not sure they're going to play Chase Young because he likes to overrun the play every time or just stand there and watch. So, but we'll see what happens. So right now the line opened at 2.5 right away for San Francisco, which I was like, weird. A little strange. No, it's neutral, so there's no home field advantage.
Is the Sodfather involved?
Maybe. This being played in Vegas, of course, but it immediately went down to 1, and now it's back to 2 for San Francisco. San Francisco still favored. You got to think the Chiefs' money is going to pour on this, but to this date, I put it in 84% of the bets and 76% of the money is on the Chiefs already. So I'm a little confused by the line. Actually, I really thought at some point. We'll talk about my teaser in a minute. I thought the Chiefs would eventually be the favorite in this game, but maybe they will come game time. Not sure.
I don't know because the wide receiver play has been so bad all year long. So everybody thinks of the Niners defense is amazing, but it's. I mean, it has its suspect to it for sure. I mean, you saw it last week. You saw it against Green Bay. They haven't been playing
they can't stop
that amazing. Yeah, right. Like I say, they've been good enough at this point in the postseason. So they have to be really good. They're going to have to be a lot better than what they have been. So.
Yeah, and I mean,
We'll
look.
definitely
So let's talk. I mean, to me, it's like, can San Francisco run the ball against Kansas City?
Yeah.
That's step one.
Right.
We know that the Bills were able to do it, but that was also because they conceded the run.
Right.
Baltimore chose not to run, so I'm not even sure.
Which makes no sense because if we look at the 22, the Chiefs were playing like nickel
Mhm.
and they were playing light boxes and they still wouldn't run the
Run
fucking football.
Run the ball.
They were literally having DBs in the box, like 7-man boxes with DBs, and that's exactly what you'd want if you're Baltimore. Any like week 14, that's exactly what you're looking for. You just pound the rock,
Pound
baby.
the rock.
And there, God, it makes me.
But San Francisco has a good offensive line. They should be able to run the football.
Yeah.
So that's kind of, to me, their
They got used
ability, right? And then Kansas City, I think it's, can they pass against San Francisco? But I do think Kansas City is going to run the ball.
Yeah.
They're going to run the ball against the San Francisco front. I think they can do it. But when push comes to shove, are they going to be able to get open against, and I don't think the pass rush is that good for San Francisco right now. I don't know what the problem is.
They definitely had their struggle. Jared Goff was really comfy in the first half of that game.
And Mahomes finally got sacked in this game, like in the second half. He wasn't sacked for quarters. Do you think so? If we rate the three lines that San Francisco's played so far, they played Green Bay, who played pretty well.
Yeah.
Detroit's offensive line is arguably one of the best, even though they were down a guy last week. And then the Chiefs. Where do you see them in those three? In terms
I think the Chiefs have the worst offensive. I mean, their tackles have been suspect all year long. That's been like one of the Achilles heels of this team has been their tackle play. We talked about with the Dolphins the first playoff. Now, like the Dolphins don't have any pass rushers, so there's nobody to take advantage of that weakness of the Chiefs. So
it's Bosa.
If there's a Bosa, Young, I think Armstead is the guy because he's the one who plays in the middle. He's gonna have to take off the double teams to get Bosa off the edge. But I mean, I don't know. I took the Chiefs money line. I'm just gonna go ahead and say it now, but because I think that's what.
Well, and
is
let's take the scripts out of it because I mean the scripts want, of course, script crowd. Kansas City's going to win.
Yeah, not us
out there.
Well, that's script crowd. We're not.
At this point, it's like who's the better coach?
Yeah,
Andy Reid, right?
Right.
I mean, I think so. Who's a better quarterback? Give me a break.
Right.
Mahomes. So the defense, I think, is better too.
Yeah.
So what's better for San Francisco? Maybe the offense. Like over the course of the year, San Francisco's offense has been better than the Chiefs. But I'm telling you,
playmakers for sure.
We've seen what the Chiefs have been able to scheme. Andy Reid is clearly calling the plays. I think you mentioned that last week.
Yeah.
He's calling the plays because the plays are amazing.
Yeah.
They're moving the ball in the best defense. Baltimore's a way better defense than San Francisco.
Yeah.
So I don't know. We'll see. Some of the props that I was looking at, I'm back on Mahomes rushing because I think that'll happen more this week.
Yeah.
I think it's down to 25.5. So I'm going to see if it keeps going down.
Yeah.
I like Pacheco rushing 69.5. I mean, that number, I've been watching it. And I don't know. It's hard. McCaffrey's number is so high. But I think he's going to get the ball a lot.
I would still, I'd be comfortable taking it for sure.
And I like Kelsey's receiving under, but it looks like you like him over.
But we have different numbers. I took the over 50.5. You have the under 70.5. So I think I teased it, honestly. To be honest.
You went down.
Yeah, I think it was like 63.5 when I looked. So you actually got a little bit higher yardage, it looks like. So,
yeah, I haven't. Look, these are just, I'm not betting them yet. I'm going to wait. I'm looking at them. I'm kind of testing the market.
And I did parlay this four together. So I put a parlay together with Kansas City money line, Travis Kelce anytime touchdown score, over receiving for him for 50.5, and then Mahomes to throw for over 250.5 yards, and that's at plus 355. If you want to jump on board.
Well, that's what it is. I understand.
Yeah, I kind of like this. I liked it when I think it was like Monday morning. I got up really early. It was at like 5:30, so I watched the San Francisco game over again. I was like, all right, I was kind of checking out with the old eye test, if you will. I just feel good about the Chiefs. They feel like the team of destiny right now.
I do too. My only worry is that you've got at this moment you have 80% or 76% of the money on the Chiefs now.
Yeah.
I mean, how much is going to be on come game time? Everybody's going to Taylor Swift. Let me put some money on Taylor Swift and the Chiefs. Like, are they going to get 90% of the money? So that means the books are going to need San Francisco.
Yeah,
which scares me. I don't like to be against the books. Usually they do pretty good in these situations. But I did a teaser, so I teased Kansas City up. Of course, I should have went back up, but from 1 to 7, and then I do the under 53.5. I think the total is going to be low. I think the Chiefs have been playing. The Chiefs have been playing unders like the whole year, and I mean, unless it's a big first half. I mean, even the Buffalo game, I think, went under, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, 27-24.
Yes, it was.
I think it was like 54.5. Yeah.
Yeah, so it
was like right on it. Yeah.
47.5 has been steady. That hasn't moved at all, that total. So obviously I'd love it to be a little higher, but that's why I teased it up to 53.5. So we'll see. But I like your parlay. I like that a lot, especially Mahomes. You tease that 250.5.
I think
number, right?
I think 275.5 was the number.
Okay.
So yeah, tease it down a little bit.
Gotcha. All right, we'll do more next week on props. We'll do some fun props. We'll talk about some stuff.
Some Gatorade colors.
Some Gatorade colors, of course. You can find that offshore. Now we're going to go into college basketball.
What song Usher's going to sing first?
That's big. Yeah. I know. That's big. Yeah.
Oh, nice. I like what you did there. Hell yeah. All right.
All right, well, let's talk a little college basketball now. We're going to try to transition this as we go for the season here.
Oh, yeah.
How do we approach this? So college basketball is this animal that people only pay attention in March usually, right? It's like, hey, March Madness, I'm going to fill my bracket. Well, not me. I like to usually – I'm a little 2 weeks late about now, but I like to watch some games, start watching as the conference play, conference tournaments, and, of course, the March Madness. So
Feast week.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm a worshiper of Ken Pom. I'm not sure if you're familiar with Ken Pom, but I love Ken Pom. He's my guy. I've never met him personally, but I love his metrics. Okay. There's a couple of things that every year as we kind of talk through the season, the metrics, if you're inside the top 20 in both categories, you have a shot at winning the title. And there's usually only like 6 or 7 teams that do that every year.
Right.
So those are your teams that are going to win the title. And I'm sorry, like every now and then you're like, oh yeah, what about this team? Like Texas Tech, they play great defense. They just can't score. They lose in the title game.
Yeah.
San Diego State last year.
Virginia.
Well, Virginia that year had a good offense.
Right.
So I'm not going to go over the Ken Pom stuff this time, but every week I'm going to start quoting it.
Okay.
Oh, Ken Pom this, Ken Pom that. We're going to stick to just, championship futures and then their conference futures. And then we'll throw in a couple games this weekend since there's a lot of big matchups.
Right.
All right.
Yeah, it's a good week for basketball.
Exactly. So I'm not sure why I started the SEC, whatever.
Yeah.
This isn't college football, damn it. But as you look at this conference, I put SEC first mainly because what I've been told is that they're a little top heavy, but they have some really good basketball teams.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
so
basketball
Tennessee, Alabama, Auburn, Kentucky are all like title contenders, right? Yeah. Now, with Kentucky, Coach Cal hasn't had a team in the Final Four in a decade.
Yeah.
So he's always got good talent, but they haven't been able to get it done. But right now, the conference, I guess, favorite right now is Alabama, and they were awesome last year, but they stumble out of the blocks this year. So their championship future is only plus 2,500. So if you really like Alabama, sure, Nate Oates, he's got those cool jackets and all that stuff.
They lead the country in scoring.
They can score.
Yeah.
They can score. Ken Pom, number one.
Almost 90 points again. I think they're like 89.6 or something like that.
They just don't play any defense.
Yeah.
So awesome. But they're on top of the conference right now, and they have the best odds. But then pretty closely by Tennessee at plus 200 in the conference. They're plus 1,600 to win it all. Auburn plus 220 for the conference and plus 1,700 overall. And then this can't be right for Kentucky, is it? It is. Kentucky, even though you think, oh, this team's great, they're plus 1,300 to win the conference because they've already got like 3 losses or something like that.
Yeah.
But Cal he's a tough coach, man. I don't want to bet against that guy, but they have the best championship odds at plus 1,100.
Yeah.
Because they usually have a young team that has to gel.
Yeah, and they're really good. They're a good offensive team. They're actually they have the second highest field goal percentage in the country. Behind, who's leading the country? And you're never going to believe this, right? My backyard.
Right in your back, Dayton.
Yeah, no, Wright State.
What?
Good old Wright State. Yeah,
they're the Raiders.
The Raiders. Yeah, I think there was like 58% field goal percentage right now.
Wow, they're filling it up.
Yeah, so Kentucky's second. I think they were like 56 or 55, something like there. So, but yeah, shout out to good old Wright State. But yeah, Kentucky. Obviously, if you look at them, to your point, they're a younger squad, but that gelling, and I mean, come March, you got to have guys that can get a stop and make a bucket. It's kind of like playoff basketball. You need to get a stop and make a bucket. So
Cal's a great coach. I like Cal. I mean, I know the people bag him some. I think he's a great coach. It's just he's basically coaching a different team every year.
Yeah,
there's nobody coming back, and that's kind of how the transfer portal has really affected college basketball. It's amazing. So one of the games we'll talk about this weekend is Tennessee at Kentucky. It's Saturday the 3rd. This is an evening game, 7:30 p.m. I'm showing it because I don't understand this. It's in Kentucky, but if I'm using Ken Pom's metrics correctly, Tennessee's somehow going to be favored in this game by a short number, like 3 points. I probably take the points with Kentucky. But any ideas on this matchup?
I think I'm with you. On the road, Rupp Arena's a hard place to play. I mean, Tennessee I think they've won 3 or 4 in a row now. And Kentucky just lost to Florida. So they're coming off, and I think lost to Mackenzie State or something like that about a month ago.
In the early season.
Yeah, in the early season. So I like Kentucky here. They usually get better down the stretch, these Kentucky teams. So historically speaking, I think honestly, this game we're in Tennessee, I think I'm just going to go with the home team. I just think the crowd is going to be a big factor.
Well, and in college basketball, I've only been charting a couple of weeks now. It's like, give me a team that can win on the road. There's barely any.
Yeah.
And if you're a ranked opponent or you're a ranked team going on the road to an unranked team in your conference, you're going to lose the game.
Yeah.
I mean, just book it. It's like it's crazy. Every Kentucky and Florida.
Well, it's hard to find those veteran teams. You usually need those veteran squads to go on the Houstons, and obviously we'll get into them.
They did win a game.
Those kind of older teams, but I mean, to your point, college basketball seems to be getting younger and younger. So that's
and look, the college fans. I mean, I used to be go to Moby, go crazy. Like the college fans come to play, even if it's a Tuesday night, and they go crazy out there. They're getting lit. A couple other teams I'm just going to mention, not necessarily their odds, is you got one. We got South Carolina, who's actually having a good year. The metrics aren't great. Florida and Texas A&M. You've got a stat for Florida.
Yeah, I love Florida. If that was my dark horse team, this is what I'd go with. So they actually lead the country in rebounding. They average 44.5 rebounds a game.
That's a lot.
So that's
they miss some shots.
They know how to get the ball. So they obviously their turnover or their differential rebounding is like +8 or 9. So they don't lead the country in that, but just the fact that they get the boards, and I think it's big in March. So it's a good way to keep momentum on your side.
They just got to make the tournament. But they're +3,300 to win the conference, so probably a little bit of a long shot, but you can see. Now we'll go to the Big Ten. This is we're Big Ten country, and Action, who's maybe we'll get him on the pod at some point this year. We'll see. He's a busy guy, but he's a Purdue Boiler guy. Okay. And as you know, last year we were. This is tough. Sorry, Action, if you're listening or watching. We were in Vegas last year. Round 1, Purdue losing to Fairleigh Dickinson. It was a tough moment. So this is one of the things. They are heavy favorites to win the Big Ten, -375. I think the biggest out of any of our groups here.
Yeah.
+800 to win the title was some of the shortest odds out there. Can they do what Virginia did years ago? I remember when they lost in the first round, and then they came back and ran the table and won it. That's what Purdue's trying to do. I mean, Purdue hasn't really made that much noise. They've had really good teams over the years, and we'll see. I don't know if Painter's just, not a good tournament coach. I mean, they're with Edey, who's like light years ahead in the Wooden Award. He's like -2,000 to win the Wooden Award.
Again.
And he's like 7'5" or whatever he is. He's a beast. The problem in that game was it was like nobody else could hit a goddamn shot. Yeah. And they just kind of packed the paint and let people shoot, and it was tough. So, I mean, any thoughts on that? Do you think Purdue's got a chance to make the Final Four and give it a chance?
I mean, they got a good team. They almost lost to Northwestern the other day. They had did you see the free throw differential? It was like Purdue had shot 44 free throws and Northwestern shot like 8 or something like that. So, I don't know. The guard play is what scares me with Purdue, to your point of how they got beat last year. They pack the paint, they make Zach Edey kind of distribute the ball, and if anybody else gets a little nervous, gets a little tight, I mean, that's the only thing that scares me with Purdue. I like guard play in March. You can have the big guy. Yeah, I was gonna say I'd rather have somebody that I know can bring the ball up the floor, that can run the offense. If they got to go to the foul line.
Well, we'll say one of their guards is their 6-man, Lance Jones, local guy, Evanston.
Okay.
Went to Evanston Township. Went to school with my daughter. He played in the league. He used to coach, and he's an amazing player.
Nice.
Maybe he'll do something. He's more of probably a defensive guy. Yeah. He can shoot the ball a little bit. So we'll see. They are going to play Wisconsin, who's kind of they're actually the conference leader right now. Wisconsin's +250 to win the Big Ten and +3,000 to win the title. They're playing at Wisconsin, so that's a big deal. Tough game Sunday, the 4th at noon. I'm estimating Purdue, even on the road, is a 4-point favorite, which seems crazy, but their metrics are pretty damn good. Would you lay it with the Badgers, or would you take the points with the Badgers? No.
Oh man, I think I'd lay the number with Purdue there. I think Purdue would. I think they're gonna play well.
More size.
Yeah, they almost got beat by Northwestern last night, and Northwestern's not very good. So
a little bit of a look ahead spot.
Yeah, I was gonna say, if anything, it's just more of like a wake up call. Like, okay, we gotta make sure we play our. Zach Edey, I think he's just gonna dominate. There's no one's gonna stop him on Wisconsin.
He does, and we'll see. I mean, like you said, we'll see if a lot of times with those Badger teams, they rely on a couple of guards who can shoot the rock, but. Yeah. If you can't get the rebounds, you're not going to get second shots. So other teams, we obviously have Illinois. They're it's really kind of a top-heavy league. It's not as deep as other years. I don't think they're going to get 10 teams or 8 teams as they've done in the past. It's probably going to be 5 to 6. Illinois is +3,500 to win the title. They're plus 1,400 to win the conference. You can't bet that in Illinois, Coop. Sorry, buddy.
Why not?
It's illegal.
That's
They don't allow you to bet local colleges like Northwestern Illinois. You can't bet.
Interesting.
Yeah, at first I was like, why isn't Illinois on my list? Oh, that's right. Rivers doesn't list them. So I do more research. Michigan State, I don't know. I mean, I love Sparty. I'm a big Izzo guy. This team always has big pump coming in, and then they kind of stink in the conference, and then they make a run late, and then somehow they're in the Final Four. This is how they do it every damn year. But they're plus 5,000 to win the title, plus 10,000 to win the conference because they've already lost several games. So there's a little bit of strange odds there that they're so far back. I think they still could win the conference. So maybe, I don't know if it's a regular season award or if it's the Big Ten tournament. So maybe you have to clarify.
I would assume it's the regular season.
Yeah, so maybe they can't do that. And then you mentioned Northwestern. Chris Collins, also a local boy, grew up in Northbrook there. Nice. He's got Northwestern at plus whatever, plus 30,000 to win the title. Probably not going to happen, but plus 12,000 to win the conference. I just like them. I think they're going to make the tournament again. They got to win last year. Let's go to the Big East. Again, this is a conference that what I call is the new Conference of Champions, not the Big 12.
The new one.
You have UConn, who's always won, and they won last year going away. They made a lot of money last year, Coop, because I just did what you do. Oh, the spread's 6? I'm going to go to 10.
Yeah.
Keep giving me money. They just blew everybody out. They are plus 900 to win the title, and I guess they are the heaviest favorite to win the conference. This is 11-15. It changed rapidly. I think it was only like 350 or 340, and now it's 11-15.
They've been on a tear.
Yeah, they're really good.
I think they're 17-2 right now.
Not bad. Not bad team.
Yeah.
So that's what is his name?
Dan
Hurley.
Yeah, Dan Hurley.
Dan Hurley's got his squad again, different than last year, but he still has the young big that was on the team last year, and they have some good players.
Yeah.
Marquette's the number 2 team, plus 600 to win the conference, and then plus 3,000 to win it all. Creighton, who I heard a lot about in the preseason, is plus 1,100 to win the conference and plus 4,000 to win it. Unfortunately, I'm holding a plus 3,000 ticket to win the title. The only one I did. They had a slow start, but typically speaking, 3 or 4 teams are going to make it, and these guys kind of make some noise in the tournament. Marquette got knocked out early last year, but Creighton went deep, and UConn won it all. So you got to watch this Big East team.
Marquette's got Shaka Smart, so I mean he's got the pedigree. He took VCU to the Final Four, so they've been playing pretty well. I think I watched them the other night on FS1. Mm-hmm. They were looking really good. I can't remember. I think they're playing maybe West Virginia or something like that.
Okay. Yeah. They play. They play a different style, which I like. And then there's some teams in here that are.
They play 4-guard, right?
Yeah, 4 guards. And then I will say, we didn't list them on here, but teams like St. John's, that's Rick Pitino's back in the Big East.
Yeah.
He's got his team playing better. Like Seton Hall, they'll probably be in the mix for the tournament bid. I just don't know if Seton Hall's going to, I'm saying St. John's is going to make a deep run.
Yeah. Maybe Xavier, if they can get their shit together.
Every other year Xavier's good. Right. And then this year, I don't know.
Yeah, it's been a down year. And this is the first year that Sean Miller's back, right? Or second year?
Second year.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So
let's go to the Big 12. Now, this one I think is the deepest conference. It's kind of what the Big 10 used to be. You're going to get 8 teams in from this conference. Even though there's 4. It's a weird conference because it's kind of getting realigned with the football and everything. So Houston is in this conference now. It hasn't been before. They're minus 215 to win the conference now, plus 900 to win the title. They made it pretty far last year, but kind of got surprised there. I think it was Elite 8 in there.
FAU, right? The Owls.
I thought they lost to San Diego State in that one. No, we have to check.
Yeah, you're right because it was it was Florida Atlantic against
Florida
San
Atlantic
State.
Yeah, that's right. So that was kind of a bit of a shock, but Calvin Sampson's a good coach. They play really hard. You want to give the stat that you got up in here?
Well, they just lead the nation in point differential. Yeah. Plus 21.1 points per game. So they come in, they beat you down, you go home. They're kind of like the Ravens of the NFL. They lead, or they only allow 52 points per game, which leads the country as well. So they're good defensively, they're efficient on offense, and they're a veteran team. They're a bigger team.
And the guards, Jamal Shedd's a stud.
Yeah,
and the guy's tough. They also have a transfer. There's another ambulance. There's a transfer that they got. I can't remember where they're from, but they have good offense this year too. And to me, transferring to the Big 12, which in theory should be, step up in class, they've played very well. Yeah. And they still have a couple losses, but they just won big on the road this week. They're amazing in overtime. So Texas Tech is the next team in terms of the odds. Iowa State is the next in terms of the odds. Plus 600 in the conference, plus 4,000 for the title. Texas Tech is plus 800 in the conference, 9,000 for the title. And then we all know Kansas is going to be there at some point, plus 950, plus 1,800 for the title. Again, because they're a more popular team, they have better, kind of like Kentucky, they have more plus 1,800 for the title, but in their conference, they're not even close to being the top. And then the big game this weekend is Saturday. You got Houston going to Kentucky or going to Kansas, and that's at 3:00 on Saturday the 3rd. Again, I don't know if I'm doing this wrong. I'm going to have to consult action on the point spread, but I'm showing Houston as a favorite on the road, which doesn't seem right. But they are playing better than Kansas. I would guess this number is a little tight. I have it at 5 for Houston. It seems too high. Maybe it's 2 points for Houston or something.
Yeah, I was gonna say 5 feels like a lot, especially when you're talking Kansas, the old blue blood,
Allen Fieldhouse, you got to earn it. Earn it.
Bill Self will get it together.
He's got the reddest face. Do you know that Bill Self? I don't know. Some days I think he looks just like Art Murphy.
Yeah, I can see that in a way. I can see it.
So that's a good game. And then some of the other teams that round out this conference, you've got Baylor. They have pretty good odds to win the title too, plus 3,500 as they've won in the last few years, plus 1,800 for the conference. And then you've got TCU and then BYU, also a new entrant. They were awesome in the preseason, like the non-conference schedule, and now they've kind of struggled. Yeah, I know. You want to talk about that?
Yeah, they made the kids take their shirts off. And
the BYU kids said horns down. What's the problem? Is that offensive?
No, I don't know why. They're soft. Texas is soft.
I mean, what the hell? Horns down, big deal.
Yeah, I don't get it either.
Suck it up.
I've seen people do worse gestures at games, especially in college. Yeah,
when they put like the grade point average of the kids and stuff, they were like doing it for other teams. So anyway,
well, this is the fact. Yeah, just all they said was horns down. I don't get it. Anyway,
another big game this weekend is on Tuesday, or this week, I should say, is Texas Tech is going to Baylor. Tech's on the road, and that's February 6th, which is Tuesday, 8 p.m. Baylor's an estimated 5-point favorite at home, and he leans in that game.
Oh man, at home 5. I mean.
Yeah, Baylor's favorite at home.
I don't like that number just because I feel like the defense is definitely. I feel like it's going to be definitely a low score, drag them out kind of game.
Okay, so it's too big of a number.
Yeah, I don't like that number. I'd maybe see it 3.5 or 2.5. 5. I feel like is a little too many.
It's tough. I mean, Baylor's a team of the Big 12 teams. They don't play as much defense as say Houston or Texas Tech for that matter. So they're more of a scoring team. They usually have good guards. So 5, they can definitely cover that number. But let's see what it ends up being. But I'd probably lean to Baylor.
Yeah, by the Jimmy Hedgington.
Jimmy Hedgerton. Okay, so ACC. Okay, we all know. I'm not sick of Duke or anything. Ridgeway, if she's listening, she's a big Dookie. I've always liked North Carolina more, not just because like when I was a kid, whatever. I didn't really watch Michael Jordan when he played in North Carolina, but as a Bulls fan, you love North Carolina. But hey, so North Carolina is actually good again. They're good.
Yeah.
They're minus 480 to win the conference. That seems a little steep considering Duke is in this conference. But they're plus 1,400 to win the title. Duke is plus 275 to win the conference, plus 2,200 to win the title. I'd probably put money on Duke in that situation just because it's heavy. They're playing this weekend for the first time in North Carolina. That's the 3rd at 5:30. North Carolina is showing as a 4-point favorite. Seems a little heavy, but they are big and strong. Duke is kind of more finesse in my mind.
Yeah, no, I agree, and I would actually take UNC at that number. I think the home team has always kind of played.
They usually do.
Yeah, they usually play better in the rival. I think looking at the Tobacco Road.
North Carolina just got beat on the road too, kind of a look-ahead spot to this game, and that happens sometimes. So Virginia is still in this conference, believe it or not, but they're plus 3,000 to win the conference, plus 10,000 to win the title. And Wake Forest is a decent team. They should make the tournament this year. Pretty long odds to win the conference, but I like them when they come tournament time. Yeah. A couple more things. We got Pac-12 now. The Pac-12 is shallow, like super shallow. Like they might get one team. Arizona is that team for sure. They're minus 345 to win the Pac-12 as they dissolve this conference. Sadly, Arizona is plus 1,100 to win the title. This team always has good talent, but they blow it every goddamn year.
Yeah.
Like I remember when they had Matherin, he was a hell of a ball player in college, and they just sucked it up. I think they lost to the Zags or something.
Yeah.
So you don't trust this team in the tournament, but in the regular season, good shot. You got a stat for me here?
Oh, yeah, they are the best rebounding differential team in the country. So they're plus 12 a game in the rebounding department. They're also the second highest scoring team in the country, right there with Kentucky at 89 points a game.
They always have talent.
Yeah, they know how to put the ball in the hoop. And from a differential standpoint, for some of those metrics you were talking about, they're definitely up there in like the class of those 5 or 6 that you like
It's
to
just
see.
when they play the Houstons of the world, can they pull their big boy pants on and play ball, because they're going to be roughed
choke.
up.
And they seem to like choke too. It's not even like it's never been a question of talent. To your point, it's more of like the mentality, and they seem to crumble. It's never like they get beat close either in those situations. They usually get beat by 8 or 10 or 12. It's not usually a very competitive
at the
game.
buzzer.
Yeah.
So the other 2 teams, I guess, I would say to watch, I mean, there could make the tournament, is Colorado, the Buffs. They're plus 650 for the conference, but plus 10,000 for the title in Oregon. They're always in the mix, even though they started off slow this year.
Yeah.
Plus 650 for the Pac-12 and plus 10,000 for the title. So I don't think there's going to be more than 3 teams in the Pac-12.
No.
It's pretty sad.
Well, Colorado's women's team's really good this year.
Are they?
Yeah, they were number 3 in the country, I think, last time I saw. Yeah, Lady Buffs.
Well, you know, your girl Caitlin was up in Northwestern yesterday.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah, they played at Northwestern. They scored 100 points.
Did they really?
Oh, yeah.
Did she have 30 again?
Probably.
Well, she's trying to break that all-time record. So,
is it? Who holds it?
Kelsey Plum.
Don't know where she went.
Washington.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, we had that on the stat of the week.
Kelsey Plum.
That was one of our stats a long time ago.
Damn me.
Yeah, that's okay.
All right, let's talk about some other teams that are not in the big conferences that we are going to track this year. St. Mary's is usually pretty good in the WCC, the West Coast Conference, and the Zags. But it's interesting. They're playing this weekend. Yeah. St. Mary's at the Zags. The Zags had a tough loss. They lost a game or 2 in the conference, and so now everybody's bagging them. I know they're not at the top of the metrics. They didn't win in Atlantis or wherever they usually play. But I'm telling you, if he's a good coach, he usually has a good team. Yeah. So the Zags are plus 100 to win the WCC, plus 10,000 to win the title. And then St. Mary's is minus 177 to win the conference right now, plus 7,500 to win the title. I still have the Zags. Well, I have it as a pick 'em right now, according to the metrics for the Zags. I just think the Zags are going to win this game. They just own this team. I don't know. Every now and then they lose. They did lose to Santa Clara. I don't know if you heard this early in the season. That's where Art went to school. He went to school with Steve Nash, by the way. I don't know if you knew
No
that.
way.
Oh, yeah. He knew Steve Nash.
That's cool.
And Nash was at the game that Santa Clara beat the Zags. That was kind of a big thing.
Huh.
They're in the mix, too, but they've kind of cooled off. I would take the Zags now for the conference, plus even money. I mean, they're probably going to win this. They haven't lost this conference in like a decade, 20 years.
Yeah, no kidding. No, I guess the one thing I did notice was St. Mary's, though. They're a very good defensive team. They're in the, I think, 3 or 4 top defensive metrics, like, you know, defensive field goal percentage, rebounding, stuff like that. So to your point, they are a good team, but like Mark Few is he's a good coach. He always finds a way to kind of grind them out, to your point.
They'll figure it out.
I would like the Zags there as well.
Yeah. Other teams, Florida Atlantic, you mentioned them before.
FAU.
They're in the American now. I think they might have moved from last year. Maybe I don't think they were in the American last year because they would have played.
No, they definitely
Houston.
were.
Well, they would have played Houston last year, though, right? Houston was in the American last year.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they were.
Were they? I thought they were in like whatever. They were with Tulane. Maybe you're right.
No, I guess because that would be what, the Sun Belt or whatever.
I don't know.
Anyway,
it changed a lot.
There's so many.
Yeah. So anyway, now they're the heavy favorite, minus 155 to win the conference, plus 6,000 to win the title. But they've got a target on their back. They're not playing quite as well as they did last year. Last year they were coming out smoking. They were beating everybody's ass. And so I'm not really sure what's going to happen. I think it was Conference USA maybe last year. I don't know if that even conference exists.
Okay, yeah, with Memphis. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think it exists anymore. So anyway, Florida Atlantic is a team to watch because they returned a lot of the guys. But last year they kind of caught people napping. They didn't know who this team was, especially in the tournament. Now everybody knows it. In conference, everybody knows it. So I think they're going to make the tournament regardless. But whether they win this conference, I'm not sure.
Yeah, I don't know. I would still take them to win the conference. They're the seasoned team. I mean, I don't think they lost a lot of people from their championship.
They didn't.
Or I guess from their Final Four.
Yeah.
So I mean, there's not a lot of teams left in the American either that really scare you.
Who knows? The other conference that probably will get 3 or 4 teams in is my alma mater, is the Colorado State guys. Mountain West. Yeah. San Diego State is always the team that kicks everybody's ass, but they're not on top of the conference. They're plus 290 to win the Mountain West, plus 8,000 to win the title. Teams like Utah State are really good. I mean, Boise knocked off somebody last night. Colorado State's in the mix. New Mexico actually is a team that got beat by Boise at home.
New Mexico State, I think.
Just New Mexico. Yeah. Well, New Mexico State's another one. New Mexico, the Lobos are in Mountain West. New Mexico was they're like 19th in the country, but now they get beat at home. So But there are still 4 or 5 good teams. They're going to be one of those. They're going to get 3 or 4 bids. 2 of them probably have to play on the goddamn play-in,
Right.
week because it's Mountain West. But
For the 11 seed. Yeah.
San Diego State is this team, dude. And look, they had lost a lot early in the tournament, like before last year, and then they went deep. So it's like they either lose in the first round or they go to the Sweet 16.
Yeah.
And this time they went to the final game, and they got smoked, but they were, they got there, which is amazing.
Yeah.
Watch out for this team. They're always a good defensive team.
Yeah. No, I couldn't agree more.
Lastly, is your, I don't know if it's your team with your local team, the University of Dayton. They're back. They had that one team, the Obi Toppin team, and all that stuff.
Got taken from them.
Got screwed. They're plus 10,000 win the title. I figured they're going to win their, Atlantic 10.
They're second, I think, right now.
Oh, are they?
Yeah.
Who's that now?
I knew you were going to ask me that. Maybe Richmond.
Oh, maybe Richmond. Yeah, Richmond's a good ball club too.
Maybe Richmond.
Spiders.
Yeah, I think it is. It's either Richmond or maybe.
You're right.
Yeah.
It is Richmond.
Okay.
So what do you got stat wise for Dayton?
Obviously they're bigger. They're a bigger team. I think the
Mhm.
average height is like 6'6" in the starting lineup. So they're a big team. They're top 20 in the nation in points allowed. They have 4 guys on the team that average 10 points or more. Deron Holmes is leading the way. I think he's like 19.8. So they do have that, that one guy to kind of, get a bucket if they need it. And they shoot really well from 3. They're 40% this season so far. So that's kind of it's kind of like those Duke teams back in the day. They live and die by the 3. If they get hot and they make a bunch of them, they can definitely.
Tough to beat.
Yeah, they're going to be a nightmare to play against. So if they can, they can make some noise. Obviously, it's a really good number, plus 10,000. They're probably not going to win it, but they can definitely be frisky come March time.
Well, I mean, they play I think Richmond's pretty good. There's a couple other teams that have been
ECU,
good.
St. Louis.
I mean, in the past, Rhode Island had a good team when Hurley was there. There's been teams that have done things in the tournament. So I just mentioned this team because they're probably going to be a potential Sweet 16 team. Maybe they aren't, but there's somebody you're going to keep in mind about.
Absolutely.
So, all right. So with the weekend ahead, first of all, I'm not doing much this weekend. I got a big travel thing. I got to save some cash, to be frank. But we are going to do the table of foreshadows. We decided
Nice.
that.
Okay.
I have to give final numbers. I have checks with some people. We're going to have 8 to 10 people.
Okay.
It should be fun. Let me know. Are you going to ask Steph and Caesar? Should we ask them? Not ask them? Listen to the podcast.
Yeah, I have no idea. Probably. I will figure it out. I have no
Luke
idea.
is coming.
Okay.
My buddy Scott is coming. If Scotty doesn't know.
Okay.
Luke's
Luke's arriving. Yeah.
Luke's arriving. I think Whitney's going to come now. I don't know. She's back and forth on this stuff. So we've got that set up for the Super Bowl. I know you're going to Pacheco's White Elephant party. So you already picked your gift. Don't tell anybody.
Yeah. No, I got my gift the other day in the mail, actually.
Nice.
Yeah. So
exciting.
It is. Somebody's going to be tickled to death that they open that gift.
Tickle me Elmo?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
What else is going on? Are you no more skating?
No more ice skating this week. I'm trying to. Honestly, it's pretty chill weekend. I don't think there's much too going on other than like that. Maybe hanging out Sunday and just being lazy.
Yeah, I'm playing progression on Saturday and Sunday.
Yeah, I'll do Hamlin on Saturday.
Well, not progression, going downers on Sunday, but
oh, nice. Okay.
So that's good. Same group of guys, which is kind of weird. Let's play two different places, guys. Same group of guys, but it's okay. I need exercise, and then I'm going to start my new gig where I'm like traveling all the time, which is kind of weird. But,
yeah, I was gonna say you looking forward to that. Oh yeah, Jimmy Wegs got a promotion.
Yay!
Yeah, it's official now, right?
No drinks yet. I haven't gotten paid yet, but yeah, pretty exciting. Going to be traveling the Sun Belt or something, Arizona, Nevada,
Nice.
Maybe Colorado and Texas. So, yay.
Yeah, bring back some elk meat.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. More importantly, I'm hopefully going to maybe accidentally go to Vegas on a trip for,
just take the wrong
roll
flight.
some bones. So just stay with my sister, save some money and roll the bones.
Oh, there you go.
But yeah, pretty exciting. But yeah, this is kind of how it went a couple weeks ago. Hey, do you want to do this thing? Sure. Give us a little one pager. When I was in Florida, I'd like type up the one pager for my business plan. This week it's like, hey, so I don't know what your title wants to be, but tell me what your title wants to be. And you're going to Arizona on Tuesday. I'm like, oh, okay. And it has to be Waste Management Open. I'm like,
nice.
$500 hotel rooms, but
yeah,
whatever, that's how it goes.
500. Oh my God.
There's no hotel rooms. You've seen the videos,
oh yeah,
right?
I've seen that. This is like the Super Bowl.
It's insane. Like
golf.
If you look at it, there's no. We tried. One of my coworkers is a big Marriott guy.
Airbnb.
Got to be a Marriott. The nearest Marriott was in like Chandler. That's like 45 minutes out. I'm like, what are you doing? Like, we can't stay anywhere closer. So we're staying at some crappy hotel by the airport. So
nice. Yeah, they're leaving the light on for you.
Yeah.
Nice.
Hopefully.
Hell
hopefully. But anyway, so it'll be exciting. But we'll figure out how we're taping next week. I will be en route. Worst case, I guess we said Saturday, but hopefully it'll be before that because
Yeah, we still got a whole other week. We can talk about the Pro Bowl. The Pro Bowl is coming up this
the
weekend,
Pro Bowl,
everybody.
the Senior
Yeah.
Bowl is this weekend. I know you're not a big Senior Bowl guy, but I am. I listen. So we're different. Like
Yeah,
I don't
Roman
care.
Wilson was killing it the other
Was he?
day. Yeah,
Oh, yeah,
I was
I
watching
saw
a little
that.
bit of that. Yeah, I don't mind I'm more of the draft and combine kind of guy.
Totally, and I get it. But for me, like I don't really care about the college football season. I'm like I flip it. Oh, okay, I'll listen to the Senior Bowl guys. Then I look at the combine. Then I get ready for the draft, and let's talk about this. So
Yeah.
But I hear you.
And we do have the U.S. Open bowling going on this week. So
Yeah, you're gonna go down there?
Well, one of my former teammates is, I think he was in seventh or eighth going into today.
Nice.
So I told him if he made the TV show, he'd have to leave us some tickets. So Caesar said he'd be down to go. So
where are they doing that?
They're bowling in Indy.
Nice.
So about a little 3-hour trip. If hopefully we
Sure.
can make it down there. Maybe that's what we'll do Sunday. So
Why not?
praying for good vibes and hopefully that'd be fun.
Yeah,
hopefully make a
absolutely.
sign. So
Absolutely. Okay, well, hey, follow us at Side Action Pod on Twitter, Side Action Podcast on Instagram. Follow me at Wegs on Twitter and on Instagram.
You can check me on Instagram at Dalton Cooper, on Twitter or X at Mr. Grumpy Gills. We are the Side Action Podcast. Check us out next week. Unfortunately, we won't be together, but
Sorry, buddy.
in spirit.
I thought I was going to do it, but anyway.
Yeah, everybody enjoy the Pro Bowl this weekend. Woo!
All right, and sorry about the audio. Damn it.